Are we back?
Yep.
All right, back live at Live Feed Reads with Jason Crawford, Ed McMahon, to my Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
It's Friday. What is the day? Let me look at my Peanuts calendar. April the 14th. It's actually a beautiful day, a little breezy in the 80s. So,
Yeah.
gonna
Nice.
be a
The weather's been
wonderful weekend.
crazy good lately.
Couple of shout outs. So mom sold her house over in Melbourne Beach and moved to the Lutz
That's
area,
right.
basically kind of 56 and Del Mabry by
Okay.
the international not the what's that mall up there? The on
Wiregrass?
no, the other direction. The mall that is outdoors. What do you call those?
Yeah, that's Wiregrass.
Wiregrass is to the right,
Oh.
way to the right. It's an outlet mall. You ever been up there?
Oh. Well, clearly I'm not as familiar with that area
Yeah.
as I should
Well, if
be.
you want to see
But my in-laws live up there too. Yeah.
a huge outlet mall, go up 75, get off
Yeah.
at 56 and hang a left, and it's unbelievable. But anyway, welcome to
Yeah.
Tampa, Mom.
Hey.
I should say welcome to the jungle for the traffic.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Becky
there's that.
Staley says hi, and Brian Staley says
Brian
hi.
Staley says hi. Oh, also, for those interested, we are the sponsor, the lead sponsor for the 98 Rock Fest, which is a week from today at Amalie Arena.
Wow. I feel like we just had the last Rock Fest.
I know. There's at least one more ticket giveaway here in the Brandon area. It's going to be Wednesday at Hooters on 60. I would assume somewhere around 5 or 6 o'clock to 7 or 8 o'clock. You can go to the 98 Rock, station, probably for more details. We'll roll up there probably, after work ends about 5. So, we'll be up there. Come and have a beer with us, say hello. Hopefully you can win some tickets. Also, let's see. 98 Rock, Mom. I guess that's it for the intros.
Events.
So
all right.
This last week or two, I've been dealing or helping or assisting or talking to a friend of the show, whose name will leave out because of his dealings with the school that his child goes to and attends.
Yeah, okay.
And in the Hillsborough County School Board. And this is kind of and I've known this individual my whole life.
Okay.
But this is kind of a public service announcement message, or what I think you used the term before, but it's kind of like I tell my kids, the crime on TV doesn't just happen on TV.
Okay.
Bad things don't just happen on TV.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone, or most people, I would say, have seen these news internet stories regarding what appear to be out of control school boards.
Yeah.
And the stuff that they're doing and enacting, right?
Yeah. And a lot of them you see are up in, like, I don't know.
Well, of course. Well, that's the point of my PSA.
Yeah.
It can happen here too.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give you a little Gilligan Islands. This is a story that can happen here. You better wake up, or you're going to get kicked in the butt. So anyway, my buddy has a extremely talented son, who is going to take those talents over to the Universal Orlando or otherwise for for a show for what he does.
Okay.
Trying to not cause him any more.
He has an entertaining skill and he wants to take it.
Yes, he has a skill and he's going to go over, and my buddy was going to chaperone.
Okay.
Far so good. No big deal, right?
Sure.
So, and the school's going to pay for the rooms. Okay. In lieu of you chaperoning this weekend event, right?
Okay, understood.
All right. So far, no big deal. So my buddy says, well, hey, how about my son and I just being able to share a hotel room together? right?
Okay.
That teenage son.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like a big deal, does it?
Right.
Nope,
No. Yeah. This is
can't do
family.
it.
Yeah.
Nope. Kids have to stay with kids, and parents have to stay with parents.
Okay.
Okay, so far, whatever, but I'm a
All
chaperone.
right.
How about a little leeway? No, hard
Mhm.
no. Okay, well, on top of that, Mr. So and so, you need to pick which one of the chaperones that you want to uh,
Bunk
share a
with.
room with.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, because there's I think there were six, so 2 4 6, two chaperones
Okay.
to
Two to
a
a
room.
room.
Money.
Yep.
It's a decent hotel, so it's probably not cheap. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so he looks at the list. It's 5 women.
Yikes. I knew it. I was like, what are the odds that they have this balanced?
Yeah, and my friend says,
Yeah.
"Well, hold on, I'm married,
You won't let me bunk with
and
my
I'm not
son.
sure whether these women are married or not.
Hmm.
But I don't know that my wife would feel comfortable with me sharing a room with
Oh, I
another
know
woman."
that mine wouldn't. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm just
What in
saying.
the world?
So once again, how about in lieu of me spending the night with a married woman in a hotel
Hmm.
in Orlando, and possibly vice versa, a married woman spending the night with
Yeah.
a married man?
Yeah, I would not.
And
I
how
would not.
about you let me, and my son just stay together?
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he agreed to pay his own room if they would allow him to stay with his son,
Right. Okay.
rather than them pay for an extra room for him.
Right.
That we got 3 rooms. If you want to get your own room, get your own room.
Sure. Sure.
He goes, well, I only want to get my own room if my son can stay with me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or otherwise,
Of course. Makes
I
sense.
I won't chaperone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't budge. No, Mister So and So, almost said his name.
Oh
You
yeah.
need to pick one of these
Yeah. I don't have it.
fine young ladies to spend the night with.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. Well,
What?
God bless. He called um, one of
There
the
is no way.
school board members. I'm assuming in our district, our area, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
She or he, I'll leave it at that.
This person. Yeah.
Must have had some common sense and made a few phone calls. And guess what? It all worked out.
Okay.
My
Okay.
friend doesn't have to spend the night with a potentially married woman, or
Yeah,
at
that's
least
good.
another woman,
Yeah.
being that he's married, and his son gets to stay with him.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Why is
Why?
that such a hard
Why
conclusion to
is
come to?
that even an issue? Other than these school boards, hey, parents, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your thoughts on the matter. I don't want to hear your thoughts on the educational system. I don't want to hear your thoughts on what we're teaching your kids. I don't want to hear your thoughts on what we're calling your kids. I don't want to hear your thoughts on the pronouns we're using for your kids.
Okay. Well, they
And
don't care what you have to say either. So.
they want nothing to do with parents. It appears,
No, man.
because this to me
Yeah.
was a no-brainer, and it shouldn't even have
Yeah.
been an issue at
Yeah.
all.
For sure.
I mean, if
For
these
sure.
other parents want to go to Orlando and say, "Look, I'm going to get my own room, and my kids will stay with me," okay,
Hmm.
who cares?
Yeah.
But evidently,
Yeah.
no.
How can you not just be like, yeah, well, it's my kid. I do what I want. I'm paying for my room. Like, how are you not able to just do that? Like, I don't know.
Well, once again, public service announcement: if you're not involved in your child's school, then you got
You
nobody
don't
to
want to be.
blame but yourself if and
No.
when things go south. And I'm not talking just woke. I'm talking
Mm-mm.
whatever.
Bro, this doesn't have
Anything.
anything to do
The
with that. This is just
curriculum,
oversight.
what they're being
Yeah.
exposed to, whether there's a
But it's
violence
always
at the
it's
school.
always
Because
rock and
remember,
hard
I
though.
was reading the other day. There's a school
Yeah.
here in Tampa where it sounds like the inmates are running the asylum. I
Yeah.
mean, there are fights every day, all day long,
Sure.
and
Oh
and the
yeah.
teachers have basically, and God bless them, I am pro teacher, but the teachers have just thrown up their hands and say, look, the administration, there's nothing they're doing about it. The parents,
Yeah.
nothing they're doing about it. I'm not going to go and get beat up, shot, cussed at, or otherwise. So it's
You know what's fascinating to me is that, I mean, public schools before information was like in your pocket everywhere you go, there was like a viable need for a place where children could gather and get learning. But I don't know, man. I almost feel like schools are the dodo bird soon to be, because
yeah.
like
Well,
think about
listen,
the expanse
I
of
went
and the ready availability of information
yeah, I went
everywhere.
I went to Yates Elementary, great
Hmm.
school, public school. I got bused into Tampa. This was back in the busing.
Yeah.
To Williams, sixth grade center. I got bused to public school. I got bused to
Yeah.
Franklin, seventh
Yeah.
grade center, public school. Then I went to Horseman, eighth and ninth
Yeah.
grade. Back then it was eighth and ninth, public school, and
I
Brandon.
ran into somebody who went to Horseman and they were talking
Yeah.
about it.
And
Yeah.
so,
With
I'm
that.
not anti-public school,
Right.
but
Yeah, I'm not.
it seems that they're getting away, all schools, private
Yeah.
too, they have their issues with that Catholic school on Bayshore. So I think they're getting away from their mission.
Yeah. Well, their
And
mission is
their
hard
mission
to
to me
sell, is
is
kind of my point.
English, math, science, history. If and I'm all for a trade schools. If you're going to teach
Sure.
auto mechanics, I know my school had auto mechanics. If you want to have
Ours did
air
too, growing up.
conditioning,
Yeah. Shop.
carpentry, whatever. But
Hmm.
they're kind of getting away from the mission is to teach you how to read, to
Yeah.
write, to do
Well, the
math.
mission's a hard sell now. That kind of was my point, is
And
that,
so I don't know, but again, I am pro public school, pro teacher. My
okay.
kids went to private school. That was fine too.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is
There's
it's
a
a
lot going on, and
it's
some
a
of it
new
has to do with
world,
just
and
things
you
slipping through the cracks.
need to be involved. That's my
Like,
public service announcement
yeah,
from
I don't
Read and
disagree.
Read on live feed reads Friday, April the 14th. Just be
Count it.
involved.
Put a date on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, the thing that stood out to me, a couple of things that stood out to me with what you were talking about was there were 5 women and 1 man. So like there's definitely a need for fathers to be involved and
Good
be
point.
available in
Yeah,
these
good
things.
point.
And I don't know that they're as encouraged to do that, Like obviously this friend was taking the initiative, is involved, and wanted to be, but that's a ratio issue, which if that ratio were different, we might not be talking about this, right? If there's just another dude he could have bunked with, there
Yeah.
might not have been an issue, but
Yeah. Well,
that's
either
one of them.
way, I guess the point is why I wanted to bring it up. It's just
Yeah.
me, it was such a ridiculous response to a common sense request.
The other thing that gets me is that I not to play devil's advocate a little bit, but I understand where schools kind of have to throw their hands up and let policy take the wheel, because otherwise they get held individually accountable for things, and it's like, oh, it's
100%
not our
agreed.
policy to
Right.
let this happen. It's like,
Right.
yeah, but is it your policy to put married men and women together that aren't married to
Well,
each
and
other?
that's a very
You
good
know,
point because you're even in this business and in life, you're not going to be able to please everybody,
yeah,
and you can't make accommodations for everybody.
right,
So
right.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, and it's quite possible that if kids are scattered all over the universe in Orlando with their parents, it
Mm-hmm.
can be hard to
It's
get
hard
them
to track,
together.
and then you get held accountable if
I
something goes
don't
wrong.
disagree with that.
Right.
I guess the problem was, having
Had
a
no one thought about this
chaperone
before? Right.
have to
Why was
sleep
it so hard to resolve something that
or
seemed,
pay for their own way. And I
yeah,
guess if the choice is, well, okay, well, I'll pay for my own way, then go
yeah,
ahead and let my kids stay with me, so to speak.
right.
So
Yeah.
kind of like, a compromise between
Why
two
was it that hard to
issues.
solve? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So I get it. I do. that because one parent's going, well, I want this, now I want that, we're going to stay here, and it falls
Yeah.
apart versus the kids are all on floor number 19. We can watch them, monitor. We can get them where we need to be. I understand it,
It's hard for common
but
sense to take.
but there needs to be an exceptions to certain things. Just yes, normally we wouldn't, but in this instance, since we have 5 female chaperones, 1 male chaperone, and you have to pay for your own room, we'll go ahead and let your kids stay with you in that circumstance.
It really sounds like they just aren't used to having men involved and didn't know what to do because they're like, we've never run into this.
Yeah,
like,
I personally think is do what we say and don't question it.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place to be.
Because make no mistake, this is not the first run-in with the school system and my buddy.
Yeah.
Make no mistake. I mean, I've literally had to legally get involved because of some of the other things. This was just the latest, and I felt like, what the heck, I'll chat about that. But make no mistake, there have been other issues where I've had to write letters to principals and school board members and things of that nature. It's like, and you should, at my letter, I ended it with, why am I here? Why did a lawyer need to get involved?
Why do we have to,
That's how I signed it. I wish I could pull it up, but it's something. Why am I here? Why did I need to get involved when this is such a no-brainer? What should happen?
Yeah, exactly. It seems like common sense should have taken the wheel at a certain
point. There's just no.
It's not common.
No bending. It's just rigid.
Yeah.
And again, I get that, because if you start, bending the rules for one person, whatever, it can go south. I get it. But there should be, like anything, a case-by-case analysis of the situation.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Well,
just that simple. All right, well, that's it. That's all I got. I don't want to beat a dead horse, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we were on 98 Rock today, so there's no Millie. Yeah. Millie's not here, and I'm bumming. So we couldn't bring Millie today because I had to go to Feather Sound. We were on
elsewhere.
98 Rock for about a half hour. Crash and AJ, which are the disc jockeys there. They're the nicest, kindest,
they're cool people
that I've ever met. I mean, I don't know if people listen to 98 Rock, but as far as I still call them disc jockeys. I don't know if there's a different term for it, but
DJs. I don't know. On-air personalities, I think.
On-air personalities. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's politically correct, but they are fantastic people. They're enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank them for their hospitality today, and everyone at iHeart at 98 Rock. I tell you, when we walk in there, it's like family. I met the guys from 93.3. They were cool. It was actually a man and a woman, but and I met other on-show personalities, and they're very cool. They're very nice. I mean, what a great place to work. It seems like I can't speak for other departments. Certainly the on-air and the people that are assisting us. They're just fantastic. All right, well then I'll leave it at that.
Okay, cool.
And then you have any parting words, or are you just gonna take us out?
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the weekend. What are your plans? Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, by the way, if you haven't read the book, shame on you. Oh, my plans. Yeah. So we sponsor the Angel Foundation, which helps people in need. If your house burns down, or you have your child or a family member has some kind of medical condition, or whatever. So they help people in need here in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
They're having a clay shooting sports event at the Fishhawk shooting clays. I thought I had a.
You're going?
Yeah. So are you?
Yeah, I know. I was just.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So anyway, it's a charity event. It's going to be fun. It's tomorrow at the Fishhawk.
Are you any good? Are you going to make me look bad?
Oh, I'm very good. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
dang it.
I'm
Well,
very good.
I'll just be working the camera most of the time
No,
then.
that's all right. Whatever. So yes, I enjoy the shooting.
Nice.
I have a spectacular weapon we will be using.
Very cool.
A nice little
Very
12
cool.
gauge semi-automatic. It's good. All
Oh,
right. Well,
nice.
then yeah, that's what I have on Saturday. Now, if you
All right.
haven't been paying attention, your Tampa Bay Rays are 13-0.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yep, they have an off
Yeah.
day to travel to Toronto, and then they will try to get to 14-0. But regardless, God bless them. The boys of summer are hot right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, they are hot.
Yeah, man.
So go get your butts over to the Trop.
It's time to become a baseball fan.
Yeah, other than the drive, it's a fun experience. The beers
Yeah.
they got like $5 Bud Lights and Budweisers. They
Yeah.
ten
Stay
dollar
away from
tickets.
those,
They've
right?
got hot dogs specials. I mean, you can go and have a very good time for not a lot of money.
The rules that you were talking about last time, have they already been implemented or are those
Oh yeah.
coming
Oh, it's
changes?
beautiful. I
Oh,
went
okay, cool.
a week ago Saturday. The game was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yes. Number two,
Yeah.
I watched the Rays on TV as well. I've seen
Okay.
numerous calls overturned or called correctly. Either way,
Yeah, okay.
that 18-inch bag
Yeah.
has made all the difference.
That really, man.
Yes.
Just a couple of
Very much so.
inches.
In fact,
What a difference.
that has been,
What?
as far as watching the game,
Wow.
that has been the most, what's the term I want to say? The biggest
Impactful.
effect on the game as
Yeah.
far as kind of day in and day out on what I've seen. The shift
Interesting.
where you have to
That's
have two players on one
fascinating.
side, two on the other. Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know how many hits now I've seen, both teams, all teams. I watch a lot of
Get
baseball
made.
where those would have
Rather
been
than scooped
outs.
up.
Those would
Yep.
have been
Yeah.
outs.
Yeah.
Period. You put 7
Fantastic.
guys on in left field or 7 guys in right field. Imagine if you
Yeah.
were they hit. So that's made a huge difference. And then the pitch clock is just spectacular.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Well, that sounds
kudos
cool.
to Major League Baseball and the Players Association for enacting some very common sense, game changing rules. Which baseball's traditional. A lot of traditionalists who will disagree with me.
Yeah.
But if the baseball didn't do something, they were going
To
by
lose
way of the
viewers.
dodo, by way of the
Sure.
dodo bird. Make no
Sure.
mistake.
Yeah.
But
I haven't watched an actual baseball game
I
in
believe
forever,
these
since I was a
changes
kid.
will
So,
are dramatic, and I
yeah.
love them.
Yeah. I mean, it's an American classic pastime, and
Yeah.
I haven't watched a baseball game since I
Well,
was a kid.
American classics can go by
Yeah.
the way of extinct. I believe there's no more. I don't believe there's a Kmart. I don't believe there's a Sears. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Take your pick. I
No.
don't believe there's a Bennigan's anymore.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's a Pan Am, which was one
We
of the
still have Chuck E. Cheese, though.
it was one of the biggest airlines. The list goes on and on and on. That
Yeah.
if you don't adapt and
Oh,
change,
Toys R Us is gone, right?
Toys
Like
R Us,
Dodo
sayonara.
Bird.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
either you adapt, or you eventually could see your
Yeah, man. Wow.
business, and baseball's a business. You could see it be a pastime.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway,
Yeah.
all right. I guess maybe now we're done.
All right, cool. Well, I'll take us out. Any last words before we end?
No.
Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Be safe out there.
Take care.
Yeah, take care. Be
All
safe.
right.
Have fun. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you, God willing, next Friday.
Word.